Okay, last segment. I want to get your thoughts on some of these things, and Travis, you too. This is a segment about social media beauty standards and teens/young people. So as we know, social media is integrated into like every part of our lives these days, and especially young people.
Yeah, I'm on it so much.
I use social media a lot. I use it more than I do, and probably we should be restricting your phone because I know you're on there all the time. But no, it's really embraced everyone's lives these days, especially the young people. And so there's been a lot of talk, a lot of research about how social media has been setting beauty standards and how that affects young people.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna kind of go over some different points here with that, and I want to kind of get both of you guys' thoughts. So the first is the effects of social media on body image. So I know you're on social media a lot, Danica. Like, based on what you see on social media, like, what do you think is portrayed as ideal body image these days?
Well, an ideal body image on social media, it's kind of unrealistic in my opinion, but like a slimmer waist, like a bigger chest, and like a big booty.
So you still think that, and so and it's funny, we talk about this on the show all the time about like what's kind of standard. So that kind of Kardashian look that you're talking about was extremely popular. I feel like that's starting to slide away a little bit, and we're not seeing kind of those exaggerated curves.
Yeah.
But I would agree that. What do you think, Travis? Like, you're on social media a lot. I mean,
so I would agree with Danica when it comes to like body image for the women. For the men, I would say it kind of ranges. But for women, yeah, I would say the same thing. But I do kind of think you are correct. It is trending back towards like the natural way of looking.
I think it is. I mean, it's hard to say because these things move slow, but
right, it is very slow. But I think people are kind of starting to see like the like toxicity of like BBLs and like that body type.
Yes, people have been watching the show.
Yeah,
down with the BBLs. Boo.
Absolutely.
All right. The other thing that is always talked about with social media is self-esteem issues, and you said the exact thing that this is talking about. What did you say? What did you say about body images on social media?
It's kind of unrealistic.
Yeah, unrealistic.
Especially for younger girls, like.
Yeah.
Because if you're like 14, you're not gonna have curves mostly.
Right. Well, and also too, you know, where I get kind of concerned is, and I don't worry about you personally because I feel like you really have a good head on your shoulders and you kind of understand things. But like, I worry about young people looking at, you know, like a 25-year-old that may have had either treatments done, surgery done, is using filters, and looking at that person and thinking, okay, this is what I should look like.
Yeah, that's definitely happened to a lot of people, and sometimes including myself, but I'm better about it now.
Is that something your friends talk about at all? Like, you know, what these influencers look like, and you know, I wish I looked like that, or what's the kind of thought process on that?
Well, all my friends and I are like pretty confident, we would like to say. We all think
I would agree with that.
We all like to think that we're pretty in our own ways.
Okay, that's good. So you guys don't get too hung up on how influencers look?
No.
I think that's great, but I'm not sure everyone shares you guys' confidence.
Yeah.
And I think that some people can get into a trap of getting low self-esteem from seeing these unrealistic images on social media.
Yeah.
Next would be social media and behavioral outcomes. So things like taking the perfect selfie. Now, I know you do this. Like, social media has changed the way you don't just take a picture. Like, you gotta like make sure your hair's right. You gotta make sure the lighting's good, that you have the right smile.
The angles.
Yeah. I mean, I do the same thing, man. It's funny how social media has changed our behavior, and also, you know, how people get their kind of sense of worth based on how many likes or interactions that things, and that's where it gets. I don't mind people like taking time to take a picture. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, unless it becomes like an obsession. But you know, when you get like feeling down, do you ever get down if you? And I know the answer to this question, so we've talked about. Like, if you make a post and it doesn't get a lot of likes, how does that affect you?
It does make me sad. Like if I'm doing a live stream and no one joins, but I mean, it doesn't hurt me much. It's just kind of disappointing, you know. It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm so sad. It's just like, oh man.
Well, and I have to say, I know I've talked to you about that before, that you have to take social media with a grain of salt. And like, if you throw something up there and it doesn't get a lot of likes, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It just, you know, it just means that for whatever reason that one didn't hit.
Yeah.
You know, and you just got to keep trying. If that's what your goal is to like, you know, gain a following, then you can't
give up.
You can't give up. You can't take it personally, you know. And so yeah, but it is kind of funny how it has changed our behavior, which is totally true. Next one, social media and trends. Now, I know you see all these trends on social media, like, and whether it be challenges or like products. Do you ever see these things and want to try them?
Yeah, so actually, Mom and I get like a teen trending box every 3 months, just like with the newest trends in makeup and stuff.
Really?
So, yeah.
And do you get stuff you see on social media?
Yeah, actually, I got my favorite lip plumper, which I was talking about recently.
Oh, right, the lip plumper, yeah.
Yeah, I got that from that box, and I saw it all over TikTok, and I wanted it so bad, and now I have it.
So you would say that you see these trends, and sometimes you do want to get on board with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
I mean, and that's just life in America. I mean, people see stuff, whether it be TV, social media, and you do want to try it. And I think it's fine, but it has to be done in moderation. Like, you don't want to, you know, make rash decisions. Like, you see somebody that had a surgery, you don't want to rush out and have that surgery.
Yeah, or like especially with hair dye and stuff.
Right, things that are more permanent, yeah. Like, I just worry that people, you know, either spend too much money or do something rash that's really dramatic without giving it thought.
Yeah.
That's my only thing. But I see stuff on social media all the time that I want to try. I mean, that's business. What about body modification, tattoos, piercings? Do you think that social media has made those things more kind of mainstream, more acceptable? I mean, do you see a lot of tattoos and body piercings, or maybe your social media feeds don't have that?
Well, my social media feed is mostly like gaming and stuff, but whenever I do, they usually do have piercings. I think social media, well, I don't really have a say just because I wasn't really alive when social media wasn't that
you don't know
big.
any different, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
I do think that it has brought stuff like that. I mean, elf ears, right? I mean, how often we
I was just thinking that. It's so funny you said that. It literally just crossed my mind.
Yeah, I mean, we see these trends on social media, and like it almost normalizes them when you see them. Yeah, and so I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. Finally, what about body positivity? Would you say social media is good for body positivity or bad? What are your thoughts?
Honestly, it just like matters like what video like gets on someone's For You page. Like, because sometimes I'll see a video of someone and then the comments will all be like, "Go girl, you're so pretty," and then like sometimes I'll see a video and then all the comments will be really mean. It just kind of matters like who's seeing it.
I agree 100%. I think that social media has a very powerful voice to be a good voice for body positivity, and I see a lot of videos that do push that, and I think that's great. But I think you hit the nail on the head. The comments is where people get like brutal, and I hate that, and I firmly believe it's because of the anonymity of the internet. Meaning, people will say stuff online they would never say to someone else, right? Because it's anonymous. Like, I mean, you know, people would never say these things to someone in real life.
Definitely.
And I think that's kind of a bad thing. I mean, you know, I know I've told you this. Like, you can't take anything said on social media to heart.
No,
because there's always going to be someone that's going to try to tear you down just because they want to get a reaction out of you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't know if everyone knows that, and I think a lot of people do, you know, can get depressed and stuff from the negative.
Yeah. Like, my first few years on social media, I was definitely more like critical of myself when I got comments, but now I'm just kind of like, who cares? I'm having fun.
Yeah, and that's the right way to do it. I'm not sure everyone has that attitude, but that's definitely the right way, is to be like, look, I get that people are just going to say stuff no matter what. I'm just going to let it roll off my back and keep going. So.
Yeah.
Facts.
All right. Well,
Facts.
I think that's about all the time we have today. Danica, thank you so much for stepping in for Sarah. I mean,
real quick too, Dr. Herman.
Yeah.
Danica was getting a lot of love on social media.
Was
Robert Dreschel, he started hashtag Danica, hashtag boss. Ellen Courtney, she said, Danica, you are a wise young lady. And then it looks like Cindy Herman, she commented as well. She says that Danica is her new favorite co-host. And she says she does still love Sarah. She does still love Sarah. But she's a little biased.
But you really, honestly, you did a great job. And I appreciate you coming on. So,
I appreciate you letting me.
Well, do you want to do the, I normally do the sign-off. Do you want to do the sign-off today and just tell everybody thanks for watching and come back and see us next week?
Thank you guys for watching. Come back to Nip Tuck next week to see a new episode. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.